to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Greasy finger like I just fingered your sister.
No. She's premenopausal, so it probably wouldn't.
Well, at least there's no blood.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Wait a sec.
What?
She's premenopausal.
All right. I don't know what that means.
That means she still get the blood.
Oh, yeah. And there go all the female listeners.
And everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't have to. I'll edit that out.
Hey, ChatGPT, write me a intro for two dudes who know nothing about females.
Oh, I feel like I know plenty.
I know them in an anatomical way.
That's right.
Like in a biblical way.
Yeah.
Like,
I've had 2 kids.
yeah. I've at least
I know my
done
way around a wet paper bag.
Yeah, at least twice.
It was dark both times. I don't know.
Yeah, the other 642 times, I was fucking a belly button, I think.
Jesus.
Hey!
Wow. How you doing? What are we?
Sad Dads Club podcast episode 282, only because I just deleted it and we're only 15 seconds in.
Yeah.
I'm the Lord Fu.
I'm Jim.
Fucking, all right.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. How's it going? You
I
doing
mean-
all right?
I mean,
I'm your wellness check right now.
layoffs are coming.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
shit.
We're down to potentially 1 car. So now I'm in your realm of...
Damn.
Right?
Yeah. So this is becoming a habit.
Yeah. What are the odds? Just seems
It's
like...
so weird. Like I was saying this before. I'm 52.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived my whole life. And maybe I've had a car in the shop for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal. But I've seen my car has been in the shop more time than I can imagine last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we were down to 1 car, right? We've talked about this.
Right.
And again, right now, we are down to 1 car.
Mm-hmm.
Because my daughter has my wife's car
Right.
in San Rafael. And my daughter's car is here in Sacramento, but in a shop.
In a shop.
With a head gasket repair. We knew this was coming.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So we're down to 1 car again, and it's one of those things. You know, my wife literally leaves in the morning and takes my car to work.
You know, and I feel like there's this, like almost, like this running middle class trope. Like there's never idle time. And you,
No.
right? And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you just kind of move. But
There's no cruise.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
it seems like that is the actual reality.
It's designed that way, I feel like.
And it's like if it's not the car, it's a child.
It's a hot water heater.
It's a right.
It's a
Like,
dishwasher.
and yet some of these things are just objects, and yet they seem to be staggered in a way that
Make you feel like
you're
on cruise.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, we
and
just
then-
got through with that.
And then
And then I'm on cruise. Oh, fuck.
Right.
Here's the next
it's
thing.
like, oh, we just did the taxes and we finally got the deductions right and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, refund. Like, oh, okay. Well, how's this going to work? And blah, blah, blah. And okay. Sweet. And then within 48 hours, like, oh, something's wrong with the Explorer.
Right.
And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then within 24 hours, you're like, okay, you know what? As a family, we're getting our hands around the problem. We have a solution. Nothing's ideal, but we're going to work it.
Yeah.
And then within 24 hours of that, your employer decides, hey, remember that return to office policy and the remote workers, and we want people to come together at these core sites and do this collaboration because that makes you better workers. And you're like, okay, well, how's that apply to me? You're not in one of those sites.
That's how it applies to you.
Yeah, that's how it applies to me.
Yeah, and you're not in one of those
This whole
sites.
return to office policy, we're looking to go from soup to nuts by 2026. Well,
and you're like, but I've never been in the office.
Wait, what? And so there it is. You're like, well, like I just started to get around the budget problems of like, and was like, hey, man, I overpaid, and that's not how you did it. But we solved this problem, and it's like, well, cool. The bonus, like I may actually get to use my bonus instead of having to go straight into paying taxes because someone outside of my control creates a tax plan that doesn't work for me and my middle class buddies and friends and families. I solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get to the hard work that I put in. I get a bonus. I'm not going to have to put that into taxes. But now, no.
Yeah.
No, now, and.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're just shuffling it around.
It's like the goddamn tons of rocks, river rocks in my backyard when I bought this house. It's just a shell game of
shell game
of hops of like
move the rocks over there. No. Now you need to move them over there.
Well, you did a fantastic job with that pile, but guy, we need it over here.
Uh-huh.
Well, why didn't you? Just trust me. That's where you want it.
Mm-hmm.
You want it over here. Okay. 2 months later.
By the way,
man,
you need to move that pile over there, and then you'll never see it again.
Right. If you split the piles, then it would be less of an eyesore. So, have you given that? No, I didn't give that a consideration at all. Why would I do that? Yeah, I'm going to need you to. Actually, when you're done with that, how about a kid? What?
That's what would change the whole thing.
Yeah.
Venus is pregnant. Surprise!
You're gonna put a thing here. How about a play area? What? Shit.
Could you imagine? Jesus.
I just put all the rocks there. I gotta move it from there. Yeah. Well, that would make me a good dad, so I'm gonna do that.
That's how it feels too. I know. I get it. I get it. And the thing of it is like Mellie's car. I took it in last week. Guy called me Monday and tells me he did a block test, which is the little liquid thing. You put the blue liquid in there, and then you pump it over the coolant reservoir while it's running.
Okay.
And you pump it, and it pulls air up out of the coolant reservoir through the liquid.
Okay.
And the liquid can, if the liquid turns yellow,
okay,
that means there are exhaust gases flowing through the coolant bottle.
Okay, makes sense.
So that would be an indicator that your head gasket's bad because now exhaust is escaping through the head gasket into the coolant and then flowing through the system.
Right.
And that heats up the coolant and make things get hot.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. He says, I'm doing the block test and I don't see the problem.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, no, that's not
I'm telling you.
Wrong answer, pal.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, well, can we just scope the cylinders? Because if one cylinder's clean or two,
right,
well, that would be an indicator that the coolant is cleaning the shit out of those cylinders,
right,
and there's not going to be much carbon left.
If you're like trying to tell me you need to sell me some injectors and an ECU and a wire harness, I'm going to tell you you're full of shit, sir.
I've already been down that path, buddy.
No, I don't believe you. You're a liar.
And he says, oh, yeah, I can do that. I'll do that. It'll take a little extra work, but I can do that.
Sure.
So then I get a call from him yesterday, so Tuesday.
Okay.
Hey, I found it.
Okay.
There is a little leak. I found it by looking in the exhaust side.
Okay.
Cool. All right. It's the head gasket. Let's do it.
Okay.
So he's $3,300.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of money for sure. Not what I would like to spend on a car right at this moment.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's going to refresh that car because it's going to have all new valve cover seals and hoses and head gasket.
Right.
And a new radiator and a thermostat and all that shit.
She'll be set.
Yeah,
It is inconvenient monetarily.
Yeah.
And certainly you guys being out of a car for the duration.
Yeah.
But she
that
will
car will be ready to go.
Right.
It'll be good.
Right.
Now that's hoping also that the block doesn't have any warpage in it.
Sure.
Which I don't think it will. It never really got hot that we know of. So that's where we're at. And the other way to look at it is, yeah, it's a lot of money for sure. I mean, I'm not downplaying that at all, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper than spending $15,000 on a car.
Yes.
Right?
Of which there's no way
there's no guarantee you're not going to have the same problem.
Right. You couldn't get a $15,000 car new.
Well, you're not going to get a new car.
Right. Realistically, anyway.
It would be a used thing.
Right. So you would potentially just be opening yourself up to
other unknown issues.
Exactly.
Yes.
So not convenient,
no.
But you will know unequivocally that motor has been reset for the most part.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
There's peace of mind there.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about at length in a number of shows here, new cars are not for us in this market right now.
No.
So, fuck.
No. So that's where we're at with that. And then you surprised me today when I asked you where your car was.
Right.
So where is your car today?
My car is with my wife.
Because your car is normally sitting outside the garage.
Right.
On the driveway.
Right.
And when I pulled up, I said, oh shit, is he not here? Did he forget that we're recording today? Right?
Right.
Did he just run to the store and he'll be right back? I don't know. Maybe he just ran to the store and came back. That's fine.
Oh, is that why I'm here?
Huh?
Well, you weren't sitting out there long, were you?
No. But these are the things that are going through my head. Like as I pull up and then I'm like,
wait,
if he's at the store, I won't park in the driveway.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I parked in front of your Explorer.
Okay.
On the other side of it. And then when you were here, I said, well, where's your car? And
right.
You said your wife is driving.
Venus has it.
Yeah.
Because the Explorer, I don't know how many shows.
And it's what year is it?
2018.
So it's an 18. So it's only 6 years old.
Yeah.
Gosh, it doesn't seem like it's been that long.
It doesn't. And her mileage, what's weird to me is the mileage in the, like I'm used to, because when she was Venus was a stay-at-home mom, like, and the Honda, and like
the Odyssey,
the Odyssey had, she just like bebopped all around in the Odyssey. Like the minivan she was outpacing the yearly average and like for California drivers, and because it just went everywhere.
Yeah.
She took the kids everywhere in it.
Is that like 12,000 miles a year or something? 15?
Yeah, I think it's 15 or up. And she was outpacing that easy. Yeah. So the Explorer, while it's 2018, has under that average, but that's also COVID, right? So 2020, 2021, and even though she's full-time employee, she gets, her commute is like double digits barely. So she gets some days work from home, in a rolling fashion. So I see you. If he comes over here, I'm going to get him. Oh, I thought you had it.
Got him.
So her, even though her mileage is just way down. So the Explorer, 2018, so it's probably actually 2017 in age. It's 2024. She's under the mileage, and so it feels wonky because the age certainly doesn't match the mileage that I'm used to her having put on cars.
Sure.
So, and it's not like the Honda got. I mean, it was always hauling something. The Explorer, not so much. Like, there's not.
That's
tons.
what you have the RS for.
Right. I put fucking like
lumber in it.
Yeah, tow like fucking plywood sheets.
It'll take a 4x4 sheet.
Yeah, sumo wrestlers.
2x6 sheet.
So and it's not abused in any way. It's
Right.
very clean. It's never had anything.
She's not hooning it.
Right.
Except the one time.
And like everything about that year of Explorer before they changed to the 2019s, they pretty much changed the entire like motor and drivetrain set and options. So she was on the last iteration of that,
which you would feel good about.
Right.
You've run through the whole thing.
I have no complaints about it, but it is also a chassis and system that is, it doesn't lend itself to mods. Like there are no real lift kits for it. There's no. Like,
it's a grocery getter, so
right. It's not like a Jeep or a Bronco or any of the like.
You mean she's not on the modded Explorer?
No, there's not really a tuner kit for it. Like there's no.
You don't have a Cobb tuner on?
Yeah,
it?
there's none of that. Like it doesn't. Now the newer one, yes, there are those options, but her version is like you could put a different set of tires on it and make it off-roady, but you don't. There's no.
It's like a Tiguan.
Yeah, you're not really touching it. It's just
it is what
done.
it is.
It's done. So, a couple shows back, we talked about the heater was like blowing.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't blow warm until you got moving, and it ended up like the coolant was way low. Now she had just gone through. She does like the maintenance at the dealership, like the routine maintenance. She goes in.
That car's babied.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very like all the maintenance is taken care of at the dealership.
Yeah.
I prefer to do like the focus is
do it yourself.
I do it.
Yeah.
Outside of something that may actually be wrong.
Yeah.
She takes it to the dealership to handle all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the last time, which I thought was really cool, and I think I've seen, Mike and Angie, when they took their car to Acura for its routine stuff.
The RDX.
They're like taking footage, and then they send it to you as like a receipt. So Venus got, the last time it was in, they like took pictures of the things that they were checking. It's like, we did this, we checked this.
Interesting.
We didn't see,
this is the state of the dealer, huh?
Right. It was handy. It was nice to see. It's like, did you really check? Like,
right.
If you have a checklist of boxes, like, how do I know you checked?
You checked it, but,
right, but
did you really check it?
Right. If you send me footage, like, well, I know you pointed a camera.
That's got to be irritating as a technician.
Right. You're like, now go get, put the ratchet down.
Yeah, but did you use the camera while you were doing it?
Go get the iPhone.
It's like everyone's got a YouTube channel. Wow.
So
that surprises me.
So the coolant was low. I put coolant in it.
This is back then.
So it had just been in the shop, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or so. And then we were noticing the coolant problem. I put OEM coolant in it. We burped it with being on the incline. Heat came back. Bob's your uncle.
Right.
I don't know how many shows ago that was.
That feels like it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Tuesday morning, on our way to work, she sends me a text. She's like, "Car's not.
The heater's not working.
The heater's not working at a standstill." And the scenario and the symptoms are the same. And she's like, "So we need to check the coolant when I get home." Absolutely. But now I'm thinking, well, it's only been 3 to 4 weeks. If it's the coolant and it's that low, something is like not trickling a leak. This is gulping coolant gone somewhere.
My hope for you is that it's getting hot and steaming out somehow, and you're just not noticing it.
Could be.
Like it maybe just a little,
and without me being, and I mean,
little hairline, some doodad hole somewhere in a hose.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
hoping
that seals up as it gets cool, kind of thing. That would be the best case scenario.
I definitely don't have any answers.
Yeah.
Like all the telltale signs that we've talked about, and certainly when the my RS had the early problem with getting the Mustang head gasket at the factory that had the extra gap hole that leaked coolant. So I knew what, like, the RS had that problem. So as a
recall,
right.
Yeah.
So the RS ate coolant, but also it was visibly noticeable.
Oh.
Like I had the white smoke,
Yeah.
like at start until it got hot, and then it was clearly just ripping through it, and you wouldn't know. Recall, chucked in, problem solved.
I have a question for you regarding that.
Go.
I remember reading about it, and
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew about it, and I sent you a message like, hey, do you know there's a recall on the RS head gasket? And you were like, no.
Okay.
Did you know at that point, were you already getting coolant, like white smoke out the tailpipe at that point? And did that explain to you what you were seeing, or were you like, oh, fuck, I need to get it in for this recall?
So what made that, I hadn't checked, I didn't notice a huge drop in coolant. And I think when I had bought the RS, I want to say it was like late fall, winter. And so it was hard for me to discern whether or not it was morning start condensation,
Sure.
or because it would go away. It was never
Right.
And I wasn't versed enough, and I wasn't seeing the coolant. I wasn't driving the car, right? So probably some of my ability to identify a problem was out the window because I work from home, and if I was going to be doing anything, it was ingress and at night, and I wasn't really paying attention to some of the things that would be, and it certainly never drove like there was a problem. It
Sure.
wasn't like check engine lights or misfires or, also it's dark as night. So was there smoke? I don't, but starting in the daytime, then it was clear. And then obviously I got notification from Ford, like, let's get that in here and we'll check and see if your model falls into blah, 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 blah. And it was. They replaced it.
I feel like they knew beforehand.
Oh, I'm sure. They probably, all the VINs
Yeah.
were tracked like, oh, was this one built?
Who was the guy that did that? Right.
Man, right?
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Or who stacked the pallet of head gaskets that put it right in front of the, like these are RS motors, Mustang. Yeah. Same.
At some point someone realized, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now was it after they started seeing head gasket problems, or was it like in the factory and they were like, fuck, these are the wrong head gaskets?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh, Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank.
Some problems have been done.
Especially with
I just think that's interesting.
How hard, like in the media, how hard and how prolific the marketing was for the RS, the drift mode. Fucking everyone's out on skid pads, like hooning the shit out of this thing. And then, hey man, why is my coolant low? Why is this? Well, I don't know. It's probably because you were hooning it. And some guy at the factory is looking at the pallet of head gaskets from the Mustang and going, oh boy.
That's the wrong
Hey, is
part.
VW hiring? Volkswagen? I need to. Shit. Nissan?
Oh, I really fucked up.
Oh man.
Anyway, I just, as an aside, I was just wondering if you knew prior, because I was just curious how that went down for you.
I didn't have particular indications of such.
Okay. Anyway.
So, she has an appointment Friday to take it in and get it looked at. Because, like we'd also discussed, but I can't have a project. I've already got
2 projects.
2 projects, man.
You've already got a motor to replace and another car to put back together.
Right. And I'm like, I'm looking at the Miata like, do not fuck with me.
That's what I'm saying about the Cadillac.
Do not fuck with me right now.
Yeah. I'm like, man, you're it right now, motherfucker.
Yeah. Do not do this. Do not.
Oh. Well, it's funny because it's lent itself to a couple conversations last night. I got a so my wife's been driving it to work and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
And like running errands in it, which
Having
is
a good time.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the conversation. So last night we had to run and get gas for it. And so
she was like, I put the green handle stuff in here.
No, I'm like, so I just have a question. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
What do you like about this car and what don't you like about this car?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's a person that is very simple in her automotive needs.
Okay.
She likes her Honda CR-V a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her car. She likes how quick it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She hates the auto stop function.
I could understand that.
If you're not used to it,
yeah,
it was troublesome for me at first.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And I said, well, you can turn it off with this button right here. I said, well, when you turn off the car and then start it back up, it'll just be on again.
Right.
So you'll have to turn it off again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was very, like I said, her answers were simple because she's typically very simple car person.
I just want my car. I want to be comfortable in the car. I want it to work.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah. I want to press on the gas and it goes.
Right.
And I press on the brake and it stops.
Was that the extent of
that? Was
list?
pretty much it.
Yeah.
But it was, I'm just like, I was hoping for a little bit more, but that seemed to be the main things. The other thing about that car is it has this like hidden dashboard panel that opens up.
On the Cadillac?
On the Cadillac.
Okay.
And you just put your finger on you don't have to like press a button, or you just put your finger on this metal runner that's across the bottom of it.
Okay.
And then it will just open up, and there's like a wireless car charger in there and like a USB thing, and it's all felt lined. You can store stuff in there if you really want to. Little cubby.
Mm-hmm.
And so she knew that was there, but never really paid attention to how I opened it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, I'm sure I probably showed, oh, look, you can just, before, but she just gone.
Look at this. You just touch it in the right spot and it opens up.
Yeah. And she knows it has CarPlay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a wireless CarPlay adapter in the car.
Okay.
Which is tied to my phone. And if she ties it to her phone, the next time I have to pair it,
mm-hmm.
and then it just becomes a hassle. I'm like, so just get the cable out of the dash and plug your phone in, it'll work.
Right.
Well, she couldn't figure out how to get the thing open, and so there's 2 parts to it. There's the screen, which doesn't move at all,
right,
and then right below it's a little panel that has all the AC controls and that kind of stuff. And that panel is where you put your finger on the bottom, and it just opens up.
Okay.
And she's trying to open the screen part, she was telling me.
Okay.
Which I thought was funny because she doesn't know. She wasn't paying attention that day.
Does this panel auto close?
No, you just put your finger on it again and it'll close.
So it's motorized, not spring operated.
It's motorized.
Okay.
Yeah. And it has a capacitive touch thing, and you just literally like put your finger on it for like a second, and then it just starts moving.
Okay.
You don't have to click it.
Right. It's not a button.
Right. It's just a finger touch.
Okay.
And like a second.
Okay.
Or so. And so that was her frustrating moment when she realized she couldn't get CarPlay. So she was all, so I just drove around quiet until I could figure out how to. Oh, and that was the other thing was the wireless CarPlay thing was trying to activate, and it wasn't syncing to my phone, which wasn't in the car.
Right.
So that screen was up, right? The wireless CarPlay adapter, and she couldn't figure out how to get back to the car's main thing to like listen to the satellite radio or whatever. So that was
so the cable,
a funny conversation.
The hard line is actually in the cubby too. So
yes.
she couldn't get the hard line.
She couldn't get the thing open to get to the USB for the hard line for CarPlay.
That makes sense.
And then she couldn't figure out how, when that didn't, she couldn't get that open. She couldn't figure out how to get back to the car's home screen.
Basic navigation.
Yeah, the car's Q. The Cadillac has a Q system.
Okay.
Cadillac user experience. And she couldn't figure out how to get to the home screen. I said, "Oh, well, you just press the home button right there." And she was like, "Oh, you know." Boop. So because she doesn't drive the car and I'm the one that operates the stuff, she doesn't pay attention to it.
Right.
Until now that she's having to drive it.
Needs to be the operator.
Right. So I think that's funny. But yeah, I just think that's interesting.
We have Venus's mother-in-law, so her dad's wife that lives out here in Folsom. They have they had a Chevy SS, like a Tahoe.
Oh yeah.
Super Sport. So Tahoe format. They loved the shit out of that thing. But it kept getting stolen. And
because they're rare, I think.
Yeah, eventually it got stolen and then parted out and I think chucked somewhere in Elk Grove. I can't remember if they ever found it or not. But they pretty much wrote it off. Venus's mother-in-law loved the shit out of that thing. They never. I think they like took the insurance money. Eventually, her dad bought a truck with it, but they're kind of without a four-wheel drive to replace the SS. She has it's a hardtop convertible Lexus.
Okay.
I think with the V8 in it. And it's older-ish, like early 2000s. She loves the power in that. I don't necessarily know if she's so much the sport sedan form factor, but she likes the V8 power.
To get up and go.
Right.
Yeah.
They one of the holiday performances this year, just in December, they came over here to our neck of the woods, and the Lexus was in the shop for something like routine maintenance, whatever. And they had a pretty nice, one of like the newer Lexus SUV iterations. But as I was walking past with Xander, like we were walking home, they were like walking behind us, 20, 30 feet or so. And I walked past this car, unbeknownst that they were still behind me, and saw this Lexus and went, "Oh,
is it the like GS 500 or something?" Or
I didn't even see what model it was, but it was nice and obviously new. And I went, "Oh, that's nice." And then I heard her dad behind me go, "It's weak."
Oh, really?
And I went, hey, what you guys?
It's got a 3-cylinder in it.
And I knew they were looking for something because Chuck her dad really wanted a 4-wheel drive because they have timeshares up in Tahoe, and I know he was looking for a 4-wheel drive. So I thought,
oh, they got it.
They got something, and I went, "Oh, is this? You guys get a new car?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a loaner from the dealership while the Lexus is in the shop or getting whatever." And Mary, the mother-in-law, was just like, "Nope, don't like it. Not enough. Not even close to enough power." So I can understand, like, Mary's not a car person either, but you like what you like because it makes you comfortable, right?
Well, when you press on the gas and it does what you want to do and it's expedient about it and it doesn't give you any drama.
Right. It's like some of these cars, with turbos, 4 cylinders with turbos, like the RS is one. Your Cadillac is one. Like, you give it the beans and it's tuned to give you some sauce.
Right.
Some, though, are, this is a CRV with a turbo is not geared for sauce. It's geared for fuel efficiency.
Right.
And EPA pollution standards,
Right.
kind of a thing. So it was. I was a little taken back. I'm like, oh, really? There's no being like, or does Mary just like hot?
Well,
Power.
I'm curious too. Maybe it has different powertrain options that car just doesn't have, or something.
Fuck, I should have just asked for the fob just to go. Just to
Oh,
see.
it's a loaner. Cool. Can I drive it?
Yeah, I just need 30 seconds to a minute and a half. Just trust me on this one.
Now, here's something interesting I learned about a neighbor.
Okay.
They have an Infinity sedan of some kind. Nice little silver Infinity.
Okay.
Went into the shop and I noticed they had. Why? I noticed they had a Infinity loaner car.
Okay.
While it was in the shop. And come on.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Frogs.
Swallow.
You hear them?
Swallow the mosquitoes.
So they had this Infinity loaner car, and they park it in their garage like normal. And their Infinity was in the shop for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got their car back, and the loaner went back, and then now they're parking their car in the garage, their Infinity,
Okay.
which normally it would be, or I think he has a Porsche SUV thing. Is it a Cayenne? So normally the Porsche will be in there or whatever. I don't know, they kind of swap out, but the loaner car goes back, and they get a call from the dealer that some rodent has gone into the engine compartment and chewed the shit out of the wiring harness, and it was a $10,000 repair
On their car or the
on
loaner?
the loaner car that they just returned.
Oh.
And they found out that their car that they had gotten back
Uh-huh.
now also has damage. So whatever rodent they have in their garage loves chewing on wiring.
Oh, shit, son.
Yeah. So their car has been parked outside, which normally it's not, unless it's on the driveway, but it's been parked on the street.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if it's damaged to the point to where it can't be driven now, but they had to have an insurance claim for rodent damage on a loaner vehicle from the Infinity dealer.
Wow.
And that is harsh.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So I know they got something living in their garage or somehow accessing their garage. That's causing some havoc.
Much sad.
Isn't that harsh?
That is.
Yeah.
Especially if you know you have a fucking Porsche. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what do I need to do to protect all the harnessings?
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen the Porsche. I haven't seen the Porsche, but I know that the Infinity would typically be in the garage. I think they usually keep both the cars in the garage. So I don't know what their situation is now, but that's what I've been told regarding that situation. That would be shitty.
Because what are you going to, what, did you get all the wires? Like, or you just do the whole harness? Like,
I think they they don't patch it. I think they replace the wiring harness.
the whole harness.
I believe.
Then you're like, cool.
Yeah, because that would be
one night I come back in here after a drive and the engine's warm and it's raining outside like it has been the last couple weeks, and the rodent's like, oh,
warm engine bay.
warm engine bay.
Oh, and some wires. To
Oh
chew
my
on.
goodness. They gave me new wires.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I mean, can you imagine? They're just chewing through like a bundle of wires. Just harsh, man.
I don't like that.
No,
I feel bad for that.
I did too.
Especially when
I see him,
you've
I'll have
been
to
catching rats a go-go for a long time.
Yeah, we had a time years and years ago where we were getting mice in our garage at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I took quick action, but essentially we had some like plastic bags that my wife had put in the garage, and a mouse had fallen or gotten into the bag and then suffocated. So we found this bag where this mouse was all gooey and you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, we're getting mice in the garage, and start finding poops around.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out they were coming in through the side garage door.
Okay.
They were just, there's a gap like,
Well, yeah, they'll fit.
yeah, they'll fit under half of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it was probably 1.25 inches, 1.5 gap between the bottom of the door and the cement slab. So I went to Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and I bought a little threshold thing with a rubber thing on top, and that has been there, and that has kept them out. So we really haven't had any rodents in the garage since then.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So, and that we've had problems with rats.
Right. In the barbecue.
Yes. Recently.
Again?
Yes, again.
God damn it.
I had a barbecue at one point. They chewed through the ignition wire, and I had to replace the ignition wire.
Just think, every rat you catch saves a Porsche Cayenne.
Well,
or an Infiniti.
he's 3 doors down from me, so it's affecting a lot of people. Whatever rodent issue we're having is definitely affecting a lot of people. And you know, we made a couple years ago the half wine barrels that we mounted the posts in for the lights.
Yeah.
We have found that they are digging because we filled them with dirt and put rocks in the bottom and stuff. And then my wife has flowers she likes to plant in there. First of all, they're eating all the flowers. And then they're digging and burrowing into the dirt around the post. It's like, nothing is safe back there. You know what I mean? It's very frustrating.
Tasers.
Fucking
tasers,
blow torches.
Lasers. Tasers and lasers.
I need one of those fire throwers they had from World War II. Just, you know, give it the beans.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Pieces of shit.
But I think it all stems from my next door neighbor who doesn't give any shits about her yard, doesn't do anything with your yard. She doesn't. She's got places in the backyard where they can burrow in and duplicate. Yeah. And she doesn't do anything. She never leaves her fucking house. Her yard looks like it's been taken back by the field that was there. You know what I mean? It's awful. She doesn't do. In fact, her brother was there like 2 weekends ago. He just mowed all the weeds down. And it's like, fuck, man. No wonder why I've got shit encroaching in my yard. So whenever I put on like weed and feed in my yard, I'll throw it
over the fence.
No, I'll throw it like into her yard to to give myself a cushion of weeds. Try and keep them on her side. Like, I give a shit.
Yeah.
I've lived there 28 years. It's the same grass that was laid as brand new sod when we first moved in. Because I take care of it. You can't just not do anything to it.
Yeah. Your lack of maintenance is now becoming my financial and time burden over here.
Yeah.
Like it's not, there's no force field.
Right.
Like the wind.
It's like the smoking and non-smoking sections.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in non-smoking, well, there's no partition between me and the smoking section. That shit's coming over here.
This is cute, but it doesn't really work in practice.
Nothing prepared me for that more than a trip we made to Kansas one time. And we went to a restaurant for breakfast, and they were like, smoking or not? And I was like taken aback because we have had banned smoking in restaurants for as far as I can remember. And they were like, smoking or non-smoking? And I was like, is this the 50s? Like, what is happening? And then they sit us in the non-smoking, and you're looking like 3 tables over. There's a dude smoking in the smoking section.
He's like, you're like,
he's like ashing on his hash browns, you know, like disgusting, man.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, and then you realize, oh, we have it pretty good in California,
right?
Except for the gas prices,
right? And
anyway. So,
let me see. I got something up our alley.
Okay.
So, I went snowboarding with Piper somewhere in December.
Yeah.
But she has her college schedule was different than Xander's.
Xander has a college schedule?
Her school schedule. Okay, fucker. Here we go.
Here we go. I'm climbing over the table, motherfucker.
And your internet is slow. Oh, that's right.
I haven't mentioned that yet.
No, not yet. We'll get. Fuck, we may get there.
You mentioned it before I could get to it.
God damn it.
Now it's
I'll
useless.
give you an opportunity to swing back around. So it was during the holidays. It just didn't fall for an opportunity to get Xander up the hill. But when I went up the hill with Piper, I could tell that he was like, "Oh, well, I wanted to go."
Right.
And when we took them both up there last year, he did snowboarding. And I'm biased. I have done both skiing and snowboarding, but I am fully baked into snowboarding. I just find it more comfortable, and it's my alley. But when I took both of the kids up last year, I'm like, well, try this. You are not locked into here. And if you want to try skiing, and
forget it.
I would right. I would encourage you to try it because who knows? You may be just flat out more adept in skiing than snowboarding. I don't know, but I'm not going to tell you can't try it.
It's just like if you're goofy foot too. I mean, that's fine.
Right.
Be what you need to be. It's the same thing.
It's what you should be.
Oh, I'm regular foot, so
well, that's your bitch. Because Goofy's the only way.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, Goofy.
Yeah. So he tried snowboarding last year, and I'm like, if you want to try skiing, the next time we go up, if you make the call, we'll get you skis. And somewhere January-ish, like just after he went back, your left, nope. He flew away. I'm like already looking into this month-ish. I'm like, he has like a ski week. Woodkirk has a ski week. I'm like, let's plan. If you want to go, if you want to, this is the date. Do you want to go?
You want to do it or not?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, do you want to try skiing? He's like, yes. So we went to Clark's. We got him some skis. Poles, boots, and we went up Friday, Boreal.
Yeah.
Skiing is hard.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and my kids are not. They never did really any. Well, so far, haven't really done any sports. They didn't do like soccer or softball or basketball. Like they do band, they do marching band, and they're comfortable with that. I've never pushed them to do a sport. Xander is a nerd. He enjoys video games. He enjoys computers and whatnot, and that's totally fine. Skiing, as I tried to explain to him, like we got the skis, and I set them in the office like Thursday night, and I'd set the skis down. I'm like, here, come in here. I need 15 minutes of your time. I need to at least explain to you the rough idea of
what you're getting into,
what's going to happen here. And luckily, I had like the practice snowboard, like right next to it. I'm like, that he could put on really fast so I could explain some of the mechanics. I'm like, so the mechanics here in turning and how edges work is relatively the same. I said, the complexity here is that each foot functions independently, and it's your job at your hips and legs to unify that action.
Absolutely.
As a young man who doesn't do sports or physical things outside of PE, the strength it's easy. He understood the mechanics of what had to happen.
Yeah.
Once we were on the hill, it was clear that the physicality needed to coordinate two legs together at the same time that wanted to fight the motion of the skis. It was too hard.
Insurmountable.
It was, and he never complained. He gave it a good shot.
Did you get him lessons at least?
No. I don't know if that would have fixed anything, because I think the mountain was he just didn't have the physicality needed to keep his, like, it was just too much.
Yeah, well, you've got double the edges on the same side, so.
And it's entirely possible that my explanations and my just throwing him, like, he did perfectly fine deep end with the snowboard.
Mhm.
Like, I have no misunderstandings that he actually grasped how to move and manipulate a snowboard. He just needed more time on it, and he would be probably just no different than Piper. Like, you give me some repetition and time, and he'd be perfectly fine on a snowboard. The complexity of getting two legs independent of each other on skis was too much of a deep end. But like I said, he.
So did he do most of the day on the skis?
We did one run.
Oh.
You
didn't want to snowboard though? Like maybe go rent a board from Boreal? Or not?
I wasn't necessarily ready to, like, shell out
additional
more.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him to feel frustrated. Like I said, he never complained, but we put in some good time on one run, and I was like, if you're done, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you're done, that's okay. And I made a joke, so I'm like, so snowboarding? And he's like, yeah. And I went, perfect. I appreciate that he tried it.
You got to try it.
He gave it a shot.
If you think you're interested in it.
And I had thought that Piper had actually tried it too, just not with Venus and I. Like, I thought she went up the hill at some point with her friends and tried, because we encouraged both of them to try both to see, because Emily skis. But when I'd come back and talk to Piper, she's like, no, she never tried it. She just prefers, she's fine. She's comfortable on the snowboard. So we spent, I mean, it was one run, but the bulk of the morning, Boreal it was a nice day. It was amazing. It was a good father-son thing. We then went into we had a monstrous sized fucking breakfast burrito.
Nice.
It was a great day.
Yeah.
Skiing's not for him. But it was, I was telling my dad, I think the difference, because we were talking about, like, how our age, the pastimes and things to, man, there's just so many of them.
I know.
The things that we grew up, like, to get around, biking, skateboarding, or walking, or running. Like, to get from A to B, we were just, I feel like, more physically active.
Yeah.
I am an average, capable sports person, but I had no problems skiing or picking up skiing in middle school for the first time at Clear Creek. Like, we're going to do a Boreal trip. And it's like, well, snowboarding really wasn't a thing offered at the time. So it was like, I think I spent my first 3 outings up at Boreal in middle school and first part of high school skiing. I had no problems taking to it. Was I good? Not necessarily, but I could get up and down the hill. I was very comfortable on skis. I think that was because we just were, there was just more muscle. Right, there was more. We were more physically.
There's more coordination.
Right, there's more physical activity that lent itself to being physically coordinated. Wakeboarding was the same. It was like we're gonna. I never really skied. Water skied. I never really water skied. We had a boat. Like, want to go try wakeboarding? Sure. How do you? Okay. You put it in here, and it was like, because I was light, I was immediately up out of the water. It was like, okay, I get this. This is kind of like snowboarding, close enough.
Yeah.
All right. Not necessarily good, but the physical, the activity allowed me to have coordination.
Yeah.
Right. So, in short, we got back down. My boots pretty much gave up the ghost anyway on up the hill, like my soles.
Oh.
My boots are, almost 20 fucking years old at this point. And my soles were like peeling up off of the bottom of my boots, which I like because they fit really nice. They're Burton's.
Yeah.
Time
for new ones.
Right. I bet him
$300.
I came down the hill and I have I'm like, well, congratulations, you can have my board. And he's like, oh, because my bindings I refreshed last year.
Yeah.
So, and boards really haven't changed. I looked because I was like, outside some carbon fiber inlays instead of some wood laminates.
Yeah.
But I have no need. My board is fine. It fits his height just fine. The bindings are new. He'll need boots, but you should have your own boots at some point. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're set.
Is he going to need $375 shell pants?
God, not this year.
I sent you that text.
I know. I'm like, no.
Oh my
I'm
God.
having a hard time.
I couldn't believe that.
And I have a spare. I have a board that I actually preferred, but the bindings, the orientation of the Burton holes, I didn't have bindings for it anymore. So
that's the problem.
I'll
right?
buy myself a set of bindings and new boots because I need them anyway.
Yeah.
And I'll replace. So no one's going to be outside of me. Both the kids will have.
Well, you'll have a board available.
Right. I will.
If he's not going to go, you can use that board too.
Sure.
So
right. So
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Skiing. Fuck skiers. I almost wanted to try. Have you ever skied?
No. Because I was a skater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We
Why
used
would
to
you? Why would
we
you
used to
bother?
skimboard and surf and skate,
Yeah.
and so skiing just seemed clumsy and silly. And then there was this new thing, snowboarding, and let's go fucking try that because that's like surfing and skating. And so that was where we started.
Did Chandler or Melly ever ski?
Melly tried skiing. We took the kids up one time, and she did. Did she? I want to say she had lessons, but it just wasn't her thing at all. She hated it, absolutely hated it. So we're not going to make her do something she doesn't want to do.
Right.
Chandler, he loves snowboarding, so
he's a skater too, though. Yeah.
He's
got
kind
the
of
penny board, the boosted board.
Yeah. So for us, when I was a kid, my brother Sean and I would we went up to Donner Ski Ranch for our first time to go snowboarding, and took a half day lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And being that we were in that realm already, that half day lesson was just like the primer.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there we were just off and going.
Right.
And we weren't good or anything, but we could go up to the top of the mountain and ride down.
Right. Yeah.
And just from there on, it was just like, fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Shanna skied.
Yeah.
Shanna was a skier. So, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care. I always see skiing as sort of like chess. Like you can learn how to play really quick, but it takes a lifetime to sort of master skiing. And snowboarding is similar, but I feel like if you're like we were, into board sports stuff, then it was easy to pick up for us.
Yeah.
But skiing is I knew people that skied for years and years that just were okay. You would expect, you've been skiing for years, and they were just like, yeah, but I'm all right. I don't know. and you were like, oh shit, they're really not that good skiing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always kind of had the impression that skiing was one of those things where if you just weren't after it all the time, you sort of lost it and never really got super good at it. You know?
Yeah.
But with snowboarding, like board sport stuff for me was just, it was the natural thing. So.
Did you I can't remember. Wakeboard?
Never wakeboard.
Really?
Yeah. You know, it's funny for me because when I was little, like very little, my parents had boats and shit, and they were, my dad was like a professional slalom skier and shit. They had boats that matched the cars and all this kind of stuff, and they would go do competitions, and there were tons of pictures in the family photo albums that are like my uncle on a disc on a stool with a beer being towed by a boat, you know, that kind of shit, or barefooting. They were doing that at the rivers and any lakes and all kinds of stuff all the time. And then it was like, when we got kind of older, the boats got sold and they just never replaced them. And then as a kid growing up, you just look up in the garage and there were the competition skis, like in their bags, like hung up in the garage.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, oh, wow.
What'd you guys do?
We never did it. Like, I have pictures of me being there.
Right.
But like, I was little enough that like we weren't skiing because we were too little.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My dad, like my parents, and certainly my aunts and uncles, like had same thing, like water skis hung up somewhere. Yeah. And it was like, when were you guys? When was this happening? Oh, Big Bear, all the time. Down to like, doing the thing. I'm like, miss that one.
Yeah.
Man, there's something like wakeboarding, like as a snowboarder. And I never was we've talked about this thing. Like country, skateboarding wasn't really a thing because that's pretty hard on.
You got too many rocks and
gravel.
Yeah.
But coming from having done snowboarding for a number of years, and then when we got boats to do wakeboarding, it wasn't that hard of a transition, but there is something special about when you get outside the wake and then you like dig and you get the slingshot from the rope.
And zing it.
And then man, boom, tuning fork type of, and then you know, my dad and the skiers, none of us really skied.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I could be wrong, but skiers are also at a length where the wake isn't necessarily something that they're looking for. They're back and forth, rooster tail.
Yeah.
They're getting the speed and the slingshot, but not really.
They're trying to avoid the wake. And,
right.
And the boats are designed to give you less wake.
Right.
Yeah.
The wakeboarders, like a shorter,
they want the wakeboard boat.
Fucking absolutely.
Yeah.
The one time we went out to Clementine on the boats with my dad, and we're wakeboarding. It was like the hamster fell off the wheel for my dad. It was like, no. And I hit the wake and jump it.
Yeah.
Like, jump it.
That's now a fun obstacle.
Right. And he's like, yeah, let out the line and just go back and forth. I'm like, no, Dad.
Yeah.
No. I want the jump.
This is part of that.
I want the jump. Man, and then to be in that slingshot moment and to hit the softness of the wake just right. I'm telling you, like, there's a tuning fork moment where it's like, or a down, that's my car, or like a downshift or a power band and a two-stroke. There is that moment when you hit it clean.
Yeah.
And then the silence. And then the soft landing because it's fucking water.
Yeah.
Oh. And then when you don't hit it and you fucking gobble gallon of water or you enema yourself
cleaning out the back of your eyes.
Yeah. What? And you're like, quick, circle back around before the piranhas get me or something.
Yeah.
Man, I bet you would have enjoyed that.
Watching my dad do slalom skiing that's a fascinating sport. I don't know if do they even do it anymore?
I have no idea.
Where you're going back and forth around markers.
Right.
But like you're saying, there's a whip and a fucking pole across, you know, and then they cut around the thing and then pull real hard, and then that line tightens up and they whip back to the other side, and it's just this back and forth. Man, that trip across the back of the boat is just this quick.
And I want to say too, like you and I, like you like the down the hill snowboard,
I love carving.
The carving,
yeah.
Sometimes you're just on the outside of the wake, and I would just it's smooth out here.
Yeah.
And this is
yeah.
It's just clean. You could okay, well, now
see, that's like doing powder on a snowboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's soft out there. You can, and then you're like, yeah, now it's time for the
other side.
Let's go the other side. And you're like,
let's mess up that water on that side
yeah,
for a bit.
fuck that water. It's all nice over there. Let's do it. Ah, man.
Just like when you were in the woods, in the snow, and it's deep as shit, and there's no trails through it. If you can come across that after it snowed for a couple of days and float through powder on a snowboard, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's something visceral about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just quiet. You just hear the board sort of floating through. You're dodging trees. Man, and you're like, fuck, don't fall. Because if I fall, it's going to take me 12 minutes just to stand up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Man, there's something like something about it. Plus there's this air of don't fuck up. Make it out of here.
A to B.
Yeah.
A to B.
Make it out. Don't catch an edge and fall.
Man,
I really miss that.
We're close to time. I was just watching something on YouTube. It was I think I got there because I had been watching like iceberg calving videos. It was can't believe I ran across this, and it was a skier that was it was like not necessarily backcountry, but he was like in the trees. He was, between runs, he was in the soft stuff.
Yeah.
Like 3-4 feet of powder. And he's in between the trees, and he kind of eats it a little bit, regains his momentum, and it puts him off track just a hair, where he like skims a tree with his shoulder, and he comes around a turn. And so he's got his bearings again, but he kind of clipped a tree, and he's got a 360 or a GoPro going, and on the kind of like the shallow side of a tree that's not getting snow.
The well.
The well. You catch like a board or ski tip.
Yeah.
And he catches it on the side of his eye, and he's like, "Oh man, hey, are you okay?"
Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that video.
And he immediately digs
Stops.
out, and it is a snowboarder that is teardropped. He is
upside
down.
Yes.
And he's like,
in the tree well.
Yes. Like, what?
That you see him run across the dude's board.
Yes.
And you're like, fuck, did I just see what I think I saw?
Hey, man, are you okay?
Yeah.
Hey, man, are you okay?
And then give me a minute. I got to get my shovel out.
Yeah.
And starts digging the guy out.
Like, if ever they're like, I need to get a shovel. I need to carry a backpack with a shovel in it. Like,
that's sketchy.
What are the odds? And just in time. Like, how, I mean,
he would have suffocated.
He was buried under that shit.
Yeah, he would have suffocated. That's how people go missing.
Sure.
Because you got a white snowboard bottom.
Yeah.
That if you're flying around with a helicopter, you won't see through the trees into the well of the tree.
Yeah, and it was in that well. Like there was, if he'd not been skiing that path, it's done. Yeah, it's over.
He would have. He could have missed that guy. If he would have missed that guy by a foot, he may not have even noticed he was there.
Right.
if he hadn't run across this edge of his board,
Yeah.
man, that one really struck home.
Like sometimes,
Yeah, don't catch an edge.
yeah. Boop, boop. Like when the powder's that thick.
Think about what it was like last winter. How
Right.
much snow we had
Right.
up in the Donner area.
Have you seen? We're supposed to get almost 10 feet this weekend.
I know. So Apple News had an article saying 10 feet of snow expected in the Sierras
Yeah.
for this coming storm that starts tomorrow,
Yes.
which was supposed to start today, but is now tomorrow. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it got moved. But I
Fucking
was like,
El Nino.
10 feet?
Right?
Like, it's hard to imagine even that they're remotely correct at all.
Yeah, the
10 feet?
open snow like thing. I'm not paying for it, but anyway, I get like, yeah, and it's like a 4-year storm kind of thing for the Sierras. 10
and I think
fucking feet.
They're saying Grass Valley could get as much as a foot.
Really?
Mhm.
I did. So I sent a thing to my dad. Like, this is like a low elevation thing.
It might even come down to Auburn.
Is the truck working?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you need to make sure the battery, like the truck needs to work. It's a low elevation snow
Event,
opportunity. I need you to make sure the truck's working okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, okay, because
It's coming.
get your shit, Dad. This is going to be
It's
big.
like I have a hard time even like my brain has a
10
hard time understanding that there could be 10 feet from one event.
I know, isn't that? It's nuts.
And it seems like that was more common years ago than it is now for sure. But like still 10 feet in one snow event is just,
That's a lot of water.
yeah. And it's supposed to be super windy up in the passes too.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Stay safe up there.
Yeah. That's bonkers.
Man.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking about that. Like, oh, I want to talk about that on the show.
The guy?
No, the
Or
10-foot
10
thing.
feet.
10 feet. 10 feet of snow. That is above your typical ceiling in your home, which is 8 feet.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching the heavenly
Snow camp.
snow
Well,
cam.
send me the link to that because
I will. Yeah.
I am curious to see that as well.
I'm just saying, middle March. You should. And we should go.
I'll rent a board if I have to.
Boreal was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was nicely groomed. Boreal. The lift tickets aren't pleasant, but Boreal has plenty
I
of
like
snow.
that word choice, pleasant.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. I was impressed. Like it was a ticket, personless, like ticket system.
Uh-huh.
I pre-bought our tickets online. We went up to like a kiosk, scan a barcode. It chucks out 2 plastic tickets. It's a RFID kind of like gate, and once you're in,
Really?
you're in. Like there wasn't enough people on mountain. You could see there were like gates with like more scans if it was probably really popular. But to get on the mountain, you just take your the gate.
So you don't have a lift ticket on your clothes anymore?
It was just like a RFID key
What?
card.
I didn't know that.
It beeps. The gates open like a fucking BART kiosk turnstile kind of thing. There was someone there monitoring. You're on the mountain at that point. So each time, well, I mean, we only got on one lift, but there's no like.
Oh, so when you go to get on the lift, it beeps there.
It only beeped when we got pretty much onto the mountain. They had like the whole bottom of the hill corralled off, so you could only get to a lift through this one funnel.
I see.
So,
that's wild.
We beep once.
Hey, you should just be an open free for all, and then your ticket would let you get on the lift.
Right.
They would
so
check your.
There's no like, show me your ticket, like, or a guy with a gun, like.
Yeah, because you've always got the guy that's got like a stack of lift tickets stuck on his zipper.
Right.
Right.
Not a thing.
Oh, that's wild. It's been a while since I've been.
Right. So it was super handy, super convenient, like to not have to stand in line to get a thing, and then you're trying to jack a clip and a sticker, and you're like, oh, I funked it up, and the barcode can't be read. It was just a boop type of thing.
Huh.
Only one time. North Star was the same way. Like once you're on the gondola, you're you've paid for your thing, like it's over.
Huh.
So, man,
Interesting.
convenient.
Didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
Hey, anyway,
Hey, fucker. Oh, you sucked it up.
God damn it.
Now it's chewing on your brain.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. We're at time, sir.
All right.
You should return the cart.
You should wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Check your oil, Tony.
Stay up to date on your shots.
Make the call if you need it.
Pick up a broom.
Do the kindness.
And we'll catch you next week.
By the way, real quick, at the end of the show here, Tony is moving, from what I understand.
Mr. Overbet?
Yes.
Moving where?
I don't know. He's not going anywhere if he doesn't check his fucking oil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. So,
Travel safe?
yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. I'm sad. Anyway.
Well, we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.